Okay, so here in Slovakia, and I'm going to walk you through, what we identified today as the issues and the amount of work that we have in front of us. And when we get on the call, we'll talk about how we've organized ourselves. So the first thing here are the bend tracks. None of these have been validated, or let's say a majority of them have not been validated to ensure that when we bend the nylon, insert the connectors, put it on the gauge, we got the right lengths. Andrea right now is getting the developed lengths from Saltillo to confirm that what we do know that works. And then what we need to do is everything that's unique to Slovakia, we need to validate. Right now, one of the thoughts is that instead of inserting connectors, we can get a rough estimate by saying anywhere from 6 to 10 mils, depending on the diameter, is what we need in excess, because as you insert, obviously you're consuming some nylon as it expands. So we got to come to a conclusion there. It's my hope that tomorrow I can go through a matrix with, oh shoot, she's not here till Sunday, so I guess I got to go through it with Andrea on Sunday or Monday and figure out what the developed lengths are, and then what are developed lengths on the drawing versus developed lengths for purposes of process, and then confirm which ones have been copied from Saltillo and then which ones are unique to Slovakia. Okay, that's fine. Here you can see a lot of nylon inventory, but then again the question becomes, is this nylon inventory good inventory or potentially bad inventory? So what we need to do is figure out how the lengths compare to what we decide we need, and then we can tell you how much inventory we have. As you can see right here, we have an inventory tracking list. So today was the first day they actually populated it. One of the things that Andrea has to do, if we get real close, you can see, is we have to identify which part numbers are the high runners, where we have to run 150 an hour. 150 for run it rate. No, 300 for run it rate. Then there's another one, volume for 150, I think, and then 50 or something like that. So the point is we need at least enough for run it rate plus another 150 for buy off of the tables. So that's what we're effectively dealing with right now, and you can see the numbers. We absolutely don't have enough for both activities, but we got a month before run it rate. So you can see we got a lot of the nylons in place. We still have bend tracks coming, so we can't even bend them all anyway. So that gives you an idea as to where we are right now. Fine. But for purposes of buying off the table, we should be fine with the nylons that are there. There's Lucas. He's been working on the tables. Say hi, Lucas. So anyway, we split the tasks into two. We talked about table versus tooling. So first let's talk about table. You can see the flag stop. It's already bent up and damaged. So whether we fix those before or after run it rate, definitely I want to change those. I saw the new designs that Saltillo's got. They're way better. Looking at the matchup between the tables, what we're finding is we're not getting 100% match on the XYZ between the two, between here and here. So that's something we've got to look at. You can see we have those adjustable stops, and Eric, that's something that you and I have looked at and talked about a few times with a bunch of different guys. We got to get those set one time so that we don't have, we're not constantly adjusting our blocks to fit changing parameters on our table. Of course, looking at that as well, I don't know what changes we've made here. In some cases, the guys have said that they found differences in the way the tables were set up. I guess they were saying they had some collars in here in some cases, so we just need to, one day would be great to have them all interchangeable, but at least for now, agree, that we take all of Saltillo's learnings in terms of how to set these up and keep them fixed, and then adjust the blocks accordingly. Just keep going. What else on the tables? Obviously, we have things like work instructions that need to be put in place. We do have the sprayers in place, although I'm quite confident we might want to look at that again. And we have the pins. What else is there? I think that's effectively it for now. So right now what the team's doing is they're adjusting the blocks on one table, and they're all coming to an agreement as to how things need to be modified with regards to the blocks to the machines, and then they're going to split into two groups. So right now this whole area is one of the 2 low pressure areas. So basically all this was in the same area, and we decided to split them up into 3 distinct areas so we could have 3 groups working at the same time and focused on distinct machines. So this is one set where you got 5 or rather 4 single insertions, and then 2 T tables there. You got another T table there in the corner, but that's going to be moving. And then we got 1 assembly table with a low pressure tester. Then here we got another 2 single insertions and then a tester. And this is again for the low pressure. And then finally we got over in this area, we got a high pressure where we got 2 insertion tables, and then we got 2 leak testers here as well. Okay, and this is where we're going to need to double up on capacity, because we got to be running 1,700 units a day here, and we figured we can make about 1,200 a shift, running at about 180 an hour, 7 hours a day. Okay, fine. Then over here is where we have all the material. Right now this is where they put all the blocks, I guess, with that need to be validated. And then here we have all the materials. Materials is also a bit of an issue. We have 25 components from 5 different suppliers that are outstanding. We got a lot of clips, we got a lot of connectors, Ray Connect and A. Raymond. And then we have Bosch valve, we got some convolutes, and we got I think an EPDM sleeve. So anyway, I got Scott, well, they were working on it anyway, so Yana and Scott are working on it to make sure that we get what we need, either from Saltillo, the supplier first, because we've been getting some answers that we don't like, and if we can't get them from the supplier, then we'll get them right from Saltillo first, and China is the last resort, because every time we ship into China it costs us duty and freight, and to pull it back out it's just a pain in the ass. Okay, so anyway, you can see some of the tables here and how they're set up. In some ways it kind of reminds me a bit of China, and so the same improvements we made in China, or I didn't make, but you guys made, we're going to have to make here too. You do have the hard piping. I don't know if we had that in China, but we do have the unstable bases. In some cases they can move quite a bit, and in any case the ergonomics aren't so good, and I think we just got to clean up the edges on some of the parts that are coming together. And so anyway, there's some work to be done there. As far as the blocks themselves, we created a matrix where we're tracking all the blocks. Let me figure out where that is. Oh, here it is. So what you can see here is we got the assembly, we got the joints, the 2 joints in this particular case. We have a picture of the individual joints here. We have a description of the pins. And then for the nylon section, we got, do the blocks need to be adjusted in XYZ? If they are okay, then we'll put a check mark. If they're not okay, then we have to just write what to change. And then here we got, you know, do we have centering pins and bushings? Do we have T-slots? Do we have mounting holes for the rack? Do we have good grip, i.e. no slippage? Is our insert cavity for the rubber fucking gripper okay? And is the ID number okay? And then we have the exact same summary for the quick connector, or the, let's say, male end, right? So this is the female, this is the male. That's what we should have probably called it. In any case, we're doing that for all the part numbers here. And you can see we got a lot. We got, I think, 80. We have 23 assemblies, and we have, 32 assemblies, and we got 80 joints, and that means 160 blocks. So again, that's why we split it up into 3 separate areas. I got Chubb and a group working on one area, Lucas and a group working on another area, and then Saltillo is going to have to come in and work on another area. And then on top of that, we got the tables, both the insertion tables and then the assembly tables, and then of course we got a bundle PPAP to go through too. Okay, that's it for now.